Do you like supporting artists? Do you like nerdy things like Dungeons and Dragons? Then Co-op Creations SD is the store for you. You can find adorable dragons, menacing mind flayers, and jealous jelly cubes to accompany you on your adventures. Need a way to safely transport your math rocks? Then their homemade dice bags will keep your click-clacks warm. Stop on by their Etsy page soon, as stock is limited. Welcome back, everyone, to Campaigns of the Plains. We are sans a couple of members here today, so we're doing a special murder mystery one-shot set in Eberron. Before we get started, though, we do have one announcement, so I will turn it over to Alicia.
Hey! Travis isn't here, so I'm the announcer today. Where's my camera? That one's my camera. We hit 400 followers today. That's amazing. So thanks to Crit Like a Girl for following us. You were a 400 follower. Worked hard. And that's awesome. Like our little tiny podcast D&D show, 400 followers on Twitter. That's amazing. And we're almost at 200 followers on Instagram. So, you know, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, pop on over.
Also, check us out on TikTok, because we have been putting up more and more stuff there. Yep. So we've got a few views on there, like a few thousand views on there. So
yeah. Check us out on TikTok and all of the other social media platforms that are out there. We're not on Google Plus, but I don't know if that still exists.
What is that? I know. I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I'm still talking on Twitter.
We're not on MySpace either. That's for bands now.
I still log into my MySpace every once in a while. And move around the friends, my top friends.
Make sure that your music's still playing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's still
was the cool
Bring Sexy Back by Justin. What's that?
The music thing on MySpace, that was so cool.
Mm-hmm. I was always offended when I'd go to a MySpace page and it would just start singing to me, and I was like, noise.
Right.
But that's all I have for announcements. All right. Back to you, Josh.
Alright, so, to kind of set the scene here, it's just past dusk in the city of Tervalestus, in the country of Valinar, but that matters very little in this city that never sleeps. As soon as night attempted to pull its dark shroud over the city, the numerous lampposts along the street of the city all flicked to life and shed their dark white-blue light across the town. In other parts of the city, building lights begin to beat back the darkness, and more false lights begin to light up billboards of advertisements for any number of items that one can obtain from large corporations that have begun to pop out of the woodwork. Smokestacks from the factories still belch their noxious fumes into the air, never ceasing, even for the advance of nightfall. It's been rainy the last few days, but the city had an unseasonably warm heat wave today, and while the night provides some respite from the humidity, it has created a low blanket fog that makes finding your way to the train tracks slightly difficult.
Trains.
If it weren't for the lampposts, of course. You arrive at the station to see a massive lightning train with multiple cars on the tracks in front of the station. This engine is much larger, and the cars are all painted a dark purple, and along each of its cars is the logo for Catris Creations Incorporated Company. KCI has been blamed for the sudden culture shift into factory work, advertisements, and overall change in society here in Tervalestus. The station has been cleared of all normal traffic looking to reach their destinations in the city, and is host to yourself and a small handful of other people you've never really seen standing in front of the train waiting to board. So, you've all been given an invitation to a funeral viewing as well as a reading of a will. So, the deceased that you all are very aware of, their name is Gabrielle Catris. They were the CEO of Catris, the KCI company, and they made a number of items that made living in the city both easy and difficult at the same time. They're to blame, of course, for the sudden shift in industry. They have made tiny little, their most recent item anyway, is tiny little halfling-sized simulacrums of people that do daily work. They do menial tasks, so a lot of people have lost their jobs that normally wouldn't have. But some say that other work has been made, so no real job loss. But you know the deceased very well, and apparently the viewing will be held on this train. So, you're all standing here in front of this train, and you see an Aarakocra. An Aarakocra that is dressed rather finely, lordly, some might say. Actually, it seems like most people here are dressed decently well, and knowing Catrus, that is not something unexpected. There is... Yes, that too. Mm-hmm. There is also rather not overtly rotund, but a little bit of a belly, and it kind of jovially speaking with the Aarakocra, who doesn't seem to be having any of this gentleman's speech, and he's kind of laughing out loud. He's rather boisterous. As you approach, say you arrive first. Why don't you go ahead and describe yourself?
Okay. Let's find the description. Character I am playing tonight, his name is Killian. He is a 6'2" human. People that would have just known him years ago would describe him as a tall, handsome man with dark, striking features. Thick hair that is swept back and waves of curls from his face. He has large, deep-set eyes that are balanced out his chiseled jawline. And his strong, muscular frame is emphasized normally by finely tailored clothes that are always in fashion. But that is not the Killian you see today. He currently is a shadow of his former self. The clothes that once were finely tailored are a few seasons out of fashion. His skin is rough and tan from his new life. But his wavy hair is longer and greasy, and he's constantly pushing it back out of his face. His perfect jawline is slightly hidden behind a scruff and a mustache. But he does wear a dark suit with matching trousers. Underneath it, he has once a very fancy dress shirt that's kind of unbuttoned and a little messy with a loose tie around the neck, but a knit sweater vest over it. In his pocket, he has a silver pocket watch, which is a trinket from his past. And a fine lute is strapped to his back.
So you see the disheveled figure approach the car, and the jovial orc goes, more friends! It's grand to see that I'm not the only one at this occasion who might make some conversation, as he looks over at the Aarakocra, who is literally standing there with his back turned towards this orc, and is looking annoyed as the minute passes. But then the next figure steps out from the fog and onto the station. And describe yourself.
Oh God. Okay. Describe myself. Some of you might recognize this person, the face anyway. You might have seen it, a sketch of it on a poster or on the back of a book. Her name is Josephine Caldwell, and she has she's dressed for funeral viewing. You know, she's got a big, elegant fur coat on. It's fluffy and in charge. And she's wearing a black, midi-length drop waist dress that's beaded and very elegant looking. And she has short hair. It's blonde, and it is done up in like very nice finger waves.
Ooh.
She's wearing some nice diamond studs and a very statement necklace to go with her dress. And she's got these big, like, hooded eyes that are very large and, like, I think like Betty Davis, like, looking. And she's wearing like a bold red lip. And she looks annoyed at all of this.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. She's got a little drum. You can see maybe, like, if you see her coat move, there's a little drum tucked under her coat.
It's gonna form a
Yes.
So the jovial orc, like, turns to you and sees your expression and says, "Oh, I guess you'll fit in with our fine feathered friend." And here comes another.
Well, okay. Yes, so as you see, approaches a man who appears to be, I guess he still looks a little younger, but ages a little differently, I suppose you could say. A longer, like, pitch black hair, and a full beard, almost Tony Stark-like. His attire is that of, it looks classy, but not necessarily business or like someone who goes out, but someone of higher education, that you might see running a experimental lab out of a university of sorts. And he doesn't look annoyed, but he does appear to be slightly irritated.
Is that not the same thing?
No, they're not.
Okay. We got annoyed, irritated, and homeless.
Yeah.
But he
And
doesn't.
jovial.
And jovial!
Yeah, he's not necessarily off-putting, but it does seem as though he is being forced into something that he clearly is not all that interested in.
So, as you all gather in front of the station here, at the second car to the back, a Warforged dressed in conductor clothes steps down from one of the cars and checks his pocket watch. He snaps it shut and looks up at all of you and says, "Only those with tickets may board the Midnight Vale." And you see as the orc steps up and says, "I'm assuming this letter is our ticket, sir." And the Warforged steps over to the orc and says, "It is." And he punches it and says, "Welcome aboard the Midnight Vale. The rest of you, please present your tickets."
I walk up and I, like, reach into my coat and pull out my ticket.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Snaps the ticket. You see now that the jovial orc has stopped like halfway up the stairs, and there's actually another Warforge in a conductor outfit actually standing in the area between the last car and the second car. And he is talking to the orc in front of you, and he says, "Please, any magical items you must forfeit now. They will be given to you at the end of the trip. You will also be subjected to a scan for any magical items." The jovial orc kind of turns a little sour and says, "What? That's preposterous. I don't need to give anything to you." And the conductor says, "If you would like to not board and stay here, you most certainly can, but you forfeit any items that would have been given to you in the will."
Okay. Well,
Well, you're behind
Oh,
the
gotcha.
orc.
I'm behind the orc.
So the orc goes, "Well, I guess." And you see as he gives up, he takes off the armor that was underneath his clothes, his fine clothes, and he puts it...
Just strips down right in front of all of us.
No, he like reaches into the inside, just unclasps some things and like pulls it out from his undershirt and retucks his pants. Not all of them either, because he's kind of got a little bit of gut, not much. But
It's a thing now.
what?
Orcs are the new thing.
Has he got that orc dad bod?
Yeah, it's like
he does.
There's legit. It's like there is a. I don't know. I've fallen into a hole of TikTok.
Oh my god.
TikTok. There's a like orc daddy thing.
And then Josephine, why don't you go ahead and make me a perception check as you see this orc in front of you while he's making a grand gesture of getting the armor off and pulling it out. Seems like he's making it too big of a grand gesture.
What is it?
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
14.
14? Yeah, he's making a bit of a grand gesture of this, like... Seems like he's trying to draw attention from something else. And you really quick see as he slips what looks like a small instrument into his back pocket as he's being like patted down, but it's past the part he's already been patted down while he's like flailing with the armor, and he sticks it in the back of his pants and he goes, "Is that everything then?" And he gets waved in. Next, ma'am.
Oh, yes. I pull a little drum out and I hand it to them, and I pull another little musical instrument and I hand that to them. And then I make a big show of pulling off my coat, like in a very seductive way, so you can see the full glory of my dress. I hand them the jacket. And when I hand them the jacket, it kind of sparkles and shimmers. Like there's glitter kind of on it.
Oh, sure.
That's all I have.
Okay. He starts patting you down. Is it actually all you have?
Yeah, I gave him all my magical items.
Okay. You see as he deposits them in the last car, in a giant steamer trunk has been brought to the forefront, so he places them inside and waves you in. Anybody else stepping up? And the Aarakocra like presses past all of you, and with like a fluttering of the wings says, "Let's get this over with." And they take a staff from their back and like fling it at the conductor. And where a normal humanoid would be probably annoyed, this is a Warforged. There's no expression change on their face. And
yes, you've done what I've asked.
Exactly. The Aarakocra gets patted down and looks annoyed the entire time that he is being patted down, and finally gets waved in, and the first conductor is asking, "Who's next?"
Killian would probably step up, and he would like clearly losing the letter and like check a bunch of different pockets, like nothing, like basically like flies fall, you know, like there's nothing, and he like finds the letters like crumpled up.
Oh, sure,
and he,
sure.
Would hand it to the
first conductor.
Yep.
And the first conductor is just, again, Warforged, but like starts kind of doing this humanoid thing where it starts tapping its foot and looking at its pocket watch, like you're causing them to be late.
And then he would like pat around, and then he pulls out just two like sticks, like rods or whatever.
Okay.
And would hand those off.
Yep. So you step past the first one who punches your ticket, and the second one takes the items, puts them in the steamer trunk, and then starts patting you down. Did you give up all of your magical?
I gave up everything.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get waved on in.
Yeah, he'd probably just like walk. He kind of as he walks, he's kind of like he doesn't ever stand up full tall.
Oh,
he's
sure.
like he's a little like beaten down, so he's just like, and he doesn't know any of these people. He doesn't trust any of these people at this point.
That's fair.
I don't think he knows these people.
You might recognize me.
Star power.
Mm-hmm.
There may be a possibility if you pay attention to like the higher education fields, you might have seen me.
So I probably would.
In like a journal or of some kind.
If you...
Maybe.
I don't know if there's magazines yet.
He would still probably, even if you recognize the people, he would probably, it'd be a lot like, it's like those people that you see from high school reunion, you're like,
or it's like, or it's like you see like a celebrity or like some noteworthy like person out in public. Like, I know who you are, but like I don't know you, kind of thing.
I think it's probably, I know who you are. I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to know who I am.
That's fair. It's fair.
We have apparently this common bond that I didn't know about, and
we need to not. I don't want to interact.
I'm just
with
here to get my shit.
Yeah.
Get out.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely. I feel like he's giving off the aura where he's like, I'm here. Like he's putting all those defense mechanisms up where he's like, don't talk to me. Like
Just kind of.
he's there. Okay, but yeah,
Cool. Yeah, so I'll walk up and I'll pull it out of my coat pocket, hand it over, and I will also give them a wand.
Okay.
And then I'll also ask, I'm sure you don't need my journal as well.
And you see both of them look at each other for a second. There's no words that pass between them. And then they look back at you and they say, "It is acceptable.
Okay. What's the expected departure time?
As soon as everybody has boarded."
Oh, good. Well, hopefully that's quick.
Agreed. Any other items you would like to hand over?
This is all I've got.
And they wave you on. So those of you that step into the first car, the car you board seems to be a very luxurious lounge car. The walls, floor, and decor all match a royal purple with black and silver trimmings motif, and every thought of comfort has been provided. There are plush chairs with ottomans and canopy line either side of with small bookshelves offering a variety of readings from books to newspapers and what have you, as well as a few parlor games. There is a card table, a dartboard, and a billiards table here, and there's a small wet bar as well. And as soon as you're aboard, the second conductor steps in and kind of closes the door behind them, as the other conductor, you can actually see through the glass doors, is actually in the process of bringing the steamer trunk back into the last car and securing it. Looks like there's probably probably the supply car where there's a bunch of giant wooden boxes. They all have the KCI logo on them, as well as a couple of other companies as well. But it looks like that one's busy there. And this one steps on and says, "Make yourselves at home. Pretty soon the car will take underway, so please remain seated until we are in motion."
Make a big show of getting into, like, fluffing my dress out and getting into a seat and, like, tucking my ankles and sitting very elegantly, just looking at everyone in the room. And her eyes, you can tell, like, if you look at her, they're slitted. Otherwise, she looks humanish. And under the lights, her skin kind of has, like, a pearlescent glow to it, too, or, like, shimmer to it.
The orc goes up to the wet bar and like starts grabbing things over the counter and pouring himself a drink and starts like downing it and laughing. This is some pretty good booze.
Are you mixing for everyone?
He stops like mid drink and is like, "Suppose I can."
Could I have a martini? Dirty, please. 2 olives.
Sure. And he like grabs a handful of cups, puts some ice in them, and then comes over to you and drops one of the cups and pours in some scotch. Dirty enough for you?
You're not getting a tip.
Give you the tip. As he just laughs in his belly like...
She just looks at the person sitting next to her like the audacity.
And it's the Arakokra who has like sat down and has taken a newspaper and started to read it. Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
I lean over at the newspaper and I see like a character drawing. Like there's not photos, are there?
It's not a photo so much as it was like you said,
a drawing
on it. It's actually, this particular newspaper is from just a couple of days ago, and it actually does have heiress of the KCI company passes away by mysterious means.
Anything interesting in that paper?
I doubt it.
I don't think we've been introduced. My name is Josephine.
And he kind of rolls his eyes and says, I guess we're going to be on the train for a while together. My name's Claudius.
Pleasure. No? Okay. I lean over to somebody else.
He just kind of rolls his eyes.
The audacity.
Killian would rummage in his knapsack and pull out his own tankard and just be like, if the orc is still coming around,
oh yeah,
the strongest, whatever.
He's like, Scotch.
Perfect.
And he starts pouring in your cup. And he goes around to anybody else who doesn't have a cup yet, and they get one. It's not a question of if you want one.
So at this sitting down, I've got my book out and I'm just writing down in it, not really paying attention. I guess he walks up to me with his bottle and glass.
Yeah, and you would all have these small tables beside you that also have a built-in ashtray and areas where you could have a cigarette, or you could have a cigar, or there are a couple of boxes of cigars. And
I from within my pocket pull out a long extender and a cigarette and put it on there and go, does anyone have a light?
The giant orc comes back and he actually says, yeah, I do, and he sends a finger out and produces flame at the end of his finger.
How quaint. I light my cigarette.
And he's like doing this finger too, and he's laughing.
This was
the orc?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the orc.
I do too. But I light my cigarette with his flipped off finger then in my little filter and just start smoking it.
I see two birds on this train.
Alright, so
yeah, as he walks up, though, I look up at him and he's got a bottle and glass, right?
Yeah.
I just grab the bottle from him, take a deep swig, and then hand it back. And then kind of give him the...
He kind of gives you a nod, alright! And, he doesn't even, take it back to the bar. He just kind of tosses it in a corner. Well, you're an interesting group. This ought to be an interesting journey. And he goes back over to the bar, grabs another bottle, and, goes over to one of the settees, and he just kind of, plops in it, and then, puts his feet up on the ottoman.
What is your name?
Name's Gerald.
Gerald.
Yeah.
It's
Gerald O'Brien.
O'Brien?
Mm-hmm.
Charmed.
I'm sure you are, Toots.
What a plain
It's Josephine?
name.
Yeah, that's what I said. But you guys actually watch as outside the second conductor that had secured the storage is actually now walking along the station, and you can just see kind of from his shoulders up. And where a normal conductor would probably pull out a whistle to signal that everybody has boarded, this Warforged simply opens its mouth and you hear this shrill whistle just emanate from...
Terrifying.
A little bit. It just... Yep. It emanates there, and he actually walks a couple cars forward, and then...
If his head starts spinning him out.
But yeah, he steps on, and then you feel, before you hear anything, where a local, an actual steam-powered locomotive, you might feel a chug and the engine's warming up in a pull. You don't feel that here. You feel a hum of energy emanate from underneath your bodies, and you look out the windows to the front of the car, and this is a lightning rail. From the engine of the car, you see lightning start shooting out as the car lurches forward in one smooth motion and begins to travel northwards along the rails. It's clipping along at a decent pace once you guys actually clear the city, which takes a little while because this city is large. Industry has taken over this city, and as opposed to the rest of Eberron, which is definitely advanced as well, it isn't growing because it isn't providing the number of jobs that this city can. So it's been a lot of...
This is where you move to if you want to become someone.
Yeah, or chase the dream, or,
Yeah.
not own a shitty farm on the outside of town. So, yep. So you guys board, and after you leave the city, the lights of the city begin to fade behind you, and the only light that is here is the small lights that are along the walls of the car. So everything outside is completely dark except for once you finally reach a certain, we'll say about 45 minutes to an hour outside of the city, you actually all begin to start to see the stars above, where the light pollution has finally started to fade. Anybody that's grown up in this town, this may be the first time that you've seen stars, or at least if you don't travel a lot.
Oh, I take out a small notebook and I start looking up at the sky and then writing down like vivid descriptions.
All right. Yeah, it's about an hour later, and the first conductor comes back to you and says, supper will be served in the dining car, and he points to the next car, in the hour.
What's on the menu?
You'll have to ask the chef.
Okay.
After supper, there will be a short gathering to explain the nature of your journey by the railroad owners' lawyers. So please, join us in the dining car in an hour. And he turns back and travels back into and beyond the dining car. Every time that he opens and closes the door, though, the glass between the cars themselves actually do that thing where they go privacy, like they will go completely dark when it's completely closed. So, Gerald kind of like starts scratching his tummy, and he's like, "Wish they'd serve food now."
There's a jar of olives.
Yeah, I've been eating those, and I think these are peanuts over here.
I saw you tried to eat the decorative apple as well.
Can't blame me. Looks good.
Okay.
I'll lean over to you and be like, "Are you writing a story?"
What? No, I'm working on my research.
I met you before. You look familiar.
I don't know. Do you go to many gatherings?
I go to lots of gatherings. Depends on what kind.
I suppose you might see me there.
At any gathering? At all?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to the people that are there. I'm more busy dealing with certain individuals who don't belong, but just keep showing up.
You really make no sense at all.
Well, neither do you.
What?
We've all just gotten here, and you're trying to be involved in everybody's business.
I'm making small talk. It's rather dull sitting in a car perfectly silent for hours.
You can get a lot done if it's silent.
But we are in the company of others.
And I've got a lot of work that needs to be done.
Well, so do I. I have a deadline, but I'm still trying to make small talk.
Maybe you could be working on whatever it is you're doing, instead of trying to become, I don't know, acquaintances to everybody that you see.
You're quite
Is that your business?
What is my business? Of course it's my business. I'm doing character studies on all of you. You might appear in my next novel.
Oh, great. I'm a writer.
I think you'll be the one who kills them. Start writing his description down.
Gerald kind of laughs and is like, as long as I get my royalties.
I'll change your name so you don't get any.
Well, she's a peach, ain't she?
She seems to think so.
Look, my father tried to sue me for the exact same thing, and I won in court.
Well, you're just awful. I love it.
I feel like while all this is happening, I feel like I would just find like kind of like a space by himself, and he'd probably take out his flute and just start like tuning it and like slowly like plucking it and like kind of humming along. I'm not a musician. I don't know how you do that, but I've seen it on the video.
I do musician things.
Yeah, so I feel like he would just be doing that to like occupy his time and like be in that own world. So it's like it's like the defensive wall. Like there's literally something between him and other people. So it's a block.
Well, you start doing that, and Gerald goes, "Oh, you mind if I chip in?" And he pulls his lute out and starts trying to.
Is this dueling banjos?
It might be.
How quaint! I pull out a musical instrument as well. I'll pull out my mandolin.
All right. Well, why don't we all roll performance checks to see how well the band plays together?
Oh, God.
Yeah, right?
So Gerald got an 18.
Perfect, he would.
20. Dirty.
Oh. Also a dirty 20.
Oh!
Very dirty.
Very dirty.
But dirty.
So you guys find a tune and eventually all start to really get into it and really start a jam session, and sounds really good. And you all stop and Gerald's like, "Ha! That was great, I love it." And Claudius hasn't introduced himself. Oh no, he did introduce himself to you.
Yeah, he grunted his name at me rudely.
Yeah, Claudius goes, "Can you keep that racket down?"
I've changed my mind. He's going to be the murderer.
Have you ever read the book, Why the Cage Birds Sing? It sounds like he should read that as well. Birds sing.
Birds. Yes, quite.
Did you just make comments about him being
the bird?
The
bird. It's not racist, right?
Sure.
About birds.
No.
Well, okay. I think that I've made everyone's acquaintance except yours. What's your name?
My name is Killian. Killian Montgomery.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're very good at playing your musical instrument. Are you professionally trained?
No, but I studied it a little bit when I was in school and have picked it up in the past few years as just a way to make some money and see the world.
Ah, yes. Are you an entertainer then?
Some people find me entertaining.
And Gerald's like, "I do."
You would, Gerald.
Are you an entertainer, Gerald? You weren't so, not too shabby with your instrument either.
Oh, well, I have been the wandering performer. I always like making friends on the road and helping those when I can, and yeah.
Did you start traveling due to a tragic past?
No.
Ah, damn.
I just really liked traveling and...
No dead parents?
No.
Corrupted city officials?
No.
Okay.
At this point, I'm, actually, looking up, what? Those are odd questions to be asking a person.
I'm a novelist. I'm getting inspiration.
They were oddly specific.
Why would they be oddly... A good story always starts with a tragic history.
I don't believe that to be true at all. I think
you have not read many good stories.
I certainly have, but I believe that that's just an unfortunate trope. If you're such a good novelist, maybe you can stop the new trend.
That's what you start with. You start with the trope, and then you find something to build off of within that. Make it new, make it unique, make it fun. And I'm just learning about my my new friend here.
It's at this time that the door swipes open again between the cars, and a rather large lizard folk steps through the door, and he has on an apron and a comically large chef's hat. And he's got this tiny little triangle in his hand, and he starts
Is he doing it like deadpan face too?
He is like the lizard folk that is kind of kind of Godzilla style. He's a rather chunky lizard folk. His belly kind of hangs below his apron, and he's got a little bit of a lizard gullet thing going on where there's a lot of extra flesh. And he starts ringing the little triangle, and he says, "Dinner is served."
Are you the chef?
I am.
Lovely.
This way, folks.
What's on the menu?
Oh, rack of lamb.
Oh.
I'm so glad I'm not a satyr. That'd be
Just-
awkward.
Is that it?
Oh, that's just the main course. Nobody ever asked about the other courses.
Will there be a salad?
Yeah. He looks really happy that you're asking.
And what's for dessert?
Oh, there's hors d'oeuvres as well.
Oh, what are the hors d'oeuvres?
And he just gets really excited, and you see his chunky tail starts wagging behind him. And he's like, oysters in a hash shell.
Oh,
Turtle power.
turtle power. Oysters are my favorite. Excellent. And dessert?
Yeah, there's going to be chocolate mousse.
Delicious.
And his tail is literally thumping
And what
against
is
the
your
floor.
name, fine chef?
Oh, my name is Eats Like King.
It's like
Eats like king.
Eats like king. Well, it is a pleasure. I'm excited to eat your meal.
Yeah, you should be.
Oh my god.
I'm writing vigorous notes.
He starts to turn in the door.
I really wanted to be Travis. I wanted to be Travis.
He turns in the doorway, and it takes him a while to turn because his tail is chunky, and it
Yeah, when he was excited wagging it, he was thonking against the door.
You said lizard. What kind of lizard? If you were
like iguana style, where he was a nice green with a yellow belly. And he's definitely got the spikes that go down the back. Yeah,
I love him.
but he's chunky.
I do Eats Like King.
I do also
You're
like
gonna
Eats Like
adopt
King.
him.
Shrink him into a real
Yeah.
just turn him
man.
into an iguana and just.
We'll just have our own iguana chef.
and he's doing this because his arms are kind of stumpy too.
Yeah.
And he's just
Chef night.
T-Rex on.
Okay,
Yep.
I get up and I follow Eats Like King.
All right. So yeah, everybody else does. I'm assuming as well. There is a large round table that has been set up for you guys as you enter in the dining car. There is a small galley on the right hand side that you guys can actually see through. There is a window, and he must obviously do all of his cooking on the other side. And it's a good thing that this train is so big, because you don't know how he would be able to move on the other side, as half of this car has been equated for his galley. Mm-hmm. So, but the table itself has been set, and there is a fresh tablecloth. The forks and knives here are actually gold, and the plates and everything are gold filigreed, and the napkins themselves are wrapped with a gold ring, and the tablecloths are this kind of cream color. Nice wooden dining chairs with cushions have been pulled out ever so slightly for everyone, and then Eats Like King goes into the galley, and he wheels out his cart with the oysters for everyone, and he's waiting for everyone, not so patiently, but really excited for everyone to finally get seated. And as you do, and you arrange yourselves properly, he starts putting down the plates of the oysters in a half shell. There's also, he has some chilled wine. He's got a couple of them on his cart as well, with the oysters, they're in the same kind of bucket of ice. And he says, would anybody like some wine?
I'll take some.
And he starts pouring it, and he serves everyone their oysters, and he says,
is it a good year?
It's a good vintage.
Awesome. It's good
I'm
vintage.
assuming all of this is courtesy of the late Gabrielle.
That it is. Miss Gabrielle was very finicky when it came to food.
I imagine she
Even
was.
It's not the word I'd use to describe her.
And
How would you describe
Claudius
her?
speaks up for the first time and is like, I agree. Finally, something we agree upon.
I would like to know all the words you have to describe this woman.
Maybe after we eat.
I don't think there's enough.
But the
I
way
can think of
everyone's
one
speaking,
5-letter word.
I sense there's some bad blood here. Intriguing.
And Eats Like King is just sitting there, like waiting for you guys to actually,
I eat the oyster, and then I make a big show of how delicious it is. It's changing my life.
And he smiles.
A lot of slurping.
He flashes you a big lizard folk smile, and then, like, he hits a couple of your guys' chair, not hard enough to knock you out, but, like, kind of push you into, and he just is, like, thumping his tail and, like, humming as he pushes the cart back in.
I love him.
He comes...
Is this Josh's next character? Josh comes in as Eats Like King.
Yep.
The chef.
On his journey to become the best chef.
I want to be.
But yeah, I mean, you guys eat the oysters. They are divine. They are definitely for those of higher state. So if you're not used to them, it's probably going to be awkward. But for those of you who are, they are top of the line. He eventually comes back with a number of... She's going to get you.
Did you see that anybody directly next to me?
So,
almost punched Christian in the face.
He deserved it.
he comes back with a number of small bowls with salad, and puts a couple of jars of, like, oil and other dressings, vinaigrettes, that kind of thing on the table for...
You got some ranch?
What's ranch?
Wrong character.
You suddenly have jumped a few classes.
But yeah, these salads are definitely of a crisp green nature. They have a number of
They're
vegetables.
all leaves. They're all leaves. The kind of salad that Josh doesn't like,
Exactly.
where it's just foliage.
Yep.
Pure roughage.
What?
It's pure roughage.
Pure roughage.
Some
tree branches.
There's a number of rather hearty vegetables, tomatoes, onions, and
It's the Olive Garden salad.
yeah,
Oh, do they have the Olive Garden vinaigrette?
sure.
Hell yeah!
I want that.
I love the Olive Garden
It's so-
dressing. So good.
You hear?
Not sponsored.
Yeah, right. But you can sponsor us, Olive Garden.
Yeah, I
man.
will eat it.
Endless breadsticks.
And yes, I will salads.
Soup.
I have gone to Olive Garden and literally just eaten salad. They're so good. I can buy the
I hate
dressing.
salad and I love
I can
this.
buy the dressing at Walmart. It's not the same.
No.
Right.
This tangent brought to you by.
So yeah, he comes back in after you hear some like quick like flame licks, and he comes back out. Big old serving dish as he pulls it off. Steam escapes, and the smell of herbed rack of lamb hits everyone, and he is using a knife to cut off portions of the full rack for everyone, but he hardly has to. It's so tender. And they have the little feet caps on them that he looks like he is super, super happy about. And
5-star review all around. If I were a food critic,
he just flashes you a big lizard folk grin.
I know some. I could recommend.
I highly appreciate it.
Do you have a physical location off the train restaurant?
Well, I didn't have to, but now I might. And he starts to look really sad.
I'm looking for a private chef.
Well, I'll have to see for sure.
Okay. I just don't want him to be sad, so she's like, I'll hire you. Calls other chef. You're fired.
Yeah. So after you eat, he comes back out. Chocolate mousse, chocolate shavings.
Yes.
One of those little sprigs of mint on top as well.
Josh,
Huh?
this is the next time we have D&D.
I'm not
You're
making rack
nope.
lamb.
No, hey,
Chocolate mousse?
and chocolate mousse
Oh, okay.
and oysters.
No.
Okay, maybe not oysters, but the rack of lamb and the chocolate mousse
And the Olive Garden salad.
and the Olive Garden salad.
I try to make rack lamb on my Traeger.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, in my den, I could make Chris do it.
Oh, sure. But yeah, supper finishes up and you're bursting at the seams with very, very high quality food. Everything was very delicious. And you see as he starts, like, taking away your dishes and everything back to the galley, you see the door open to your left, which is a cabin that you have not seen yet. The door opens, but you don't see anything pass through it immediately.
I have to imagine we do the thing that everybody does when a door randomly opens unexpectedly.
And you actually hear voices before you see anything, and it seems to be three very tiny voices, speaking in unison. And they say, "Welcome to the Midnight Vale. We hope you all have enjoyed your stay thus far. If you'll follow us into the next car, and we will speak about why you're here."
Do we see things now?
Hmm?
Do we see anybody?
Go ahead and make me a perception check. Anybody.
What's my perception? Not good.
Right.
19!
That's better than what I got.
Deuces.
Mine's just 8.
Oh, okay.
8.
Let's see if either Claudius or Gerald. No,
I
sorry
got a
guys,
19.
I didn't.
I
Yeah.
got a 19.
Yeah, Josephine's the only one. You're looking around. Everybody's looking around, but you hone in on the noise and you turn back towards the table, and there, floating above the table, are 3 women that are about that big in little business suits. And you're like, what?
Just writing it down. Just and then I alert everyone else to where they are.
You all turn now and see as 3 fairies are maybe are floating very closely together, and they are motioning for you to enter the next car.
Are you the lawyers?
We are.
Pleasure. Fairy lawyers. I follow the tiny women. And I go on to write a book about attorneys at law, 3 fairy sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story. So yeah, you finally watch them with eyes as they flit very quickly into the next car, and the doors almost seem to open for them as they do. And you're following Josephine? Anybody else? I'm assuming everybody?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. So in this car, it's an odd car. You don't really understand the purpose of this car. Some of you have definitely been on trains before, but this car has been set up just like a parlor for viewing. There are a number of chairs that are half circled around this giant tube that's kind of stuck to the wall, and the tube itself is, like, from what you can tell, completely metal. And the 3 fairies go up to a podium that is next to the tube, and there is this lit magnifying glass, so now you can perhaps see them a bit better. And they say, "Would you all take a seat, and we will start shortly."
Oh, of course.
So, as you take a seat, the lights in this car start to dim, and the mechanism on the tube starts to raise up.
Is there a body in there?
There is a body floating
body!
in what seems to be a very bright blue water, and it is the body of Gabriel Cadris. And definitely seems lifeless, floating in this tube. And the 3 fairies speak up again and say, "The estate of Miss Cadris welcomes you, and hopefully this whole thing will..." And they think for a second, and they're like, "Hopefully this whole thing will make some sense to all of you that perhaps knew Miss Cadris a little better than us." Miss Catress has requested...
Like, audibly, like, chuckles, like...
Miss Catress has requested you all for this viewing until the train ends its journey. For those...
Very ominous. Until the train ends its journey.
For those of you to receive your items allocated to you in the will, you must remain aboard the train until the train reaches its destination in Thrain at Sigilstar.
That seems easy enough. I don't plan on jumping out of a moving train anytime soon.
At any point in time when we pass by one of the cities, you may depart the train, but you will forfeit anything listed to you in the will. Is this part understood and accepted?
Why are we going the long way?
Well, this is the lightning train and the rail only runs north.
They haven't gotten the other way working yet?
Well, it's across the ocean. It's a lot of work. And nobody wants to build across the field of ruins anyway.
There's nothing there to stop you.
Must
Only
you argue
glass.
with everyone?
It's not an argument. I'm stating there's no one there to stop them to build through there.
Yes, but you're arguing about the train ride. It's a long way.
I
Can't
don't
you just
care about any
enjoy
of
the
that.
train ride?
I'm just here to get what I'm here for and what it's owed to me. We just need to make it through this night.
Well, the fairies kind of do one of those... Actually, the train will take 4 nights to reach its journey's end.
Are there bed chambers? Private bed chambers?
There is room for each of you, yes.
Well, this isn't the kind of vacation that I dreamed of, but it's acceptable to me.
Good,
Accept
good.
the terms.
And Gerald goes, whatever, as long as I get what's owed to me. And Claudius says, same.
Can I agree with these men?
What?
I said I can agree with these men.
No.
Seems simple enough.
Do
to
you?
get what
Do you
we
have
need.
more arguments?
Y'all are acting as though you're owed something. What is going on here?
I'm not acting as I'm owed anything. I'm just agreeing to the terms.
I just don't understand the purpose. What's the reason in me or any of us having to be here? I guess I don't know what your relation is, but she did get around.
And Gerald's like, ha, yeah, she did.
Gerald.
Perhaps that's a conversation we have over a nightcap. We can learn a little bit more about each other and our connections with this woman.
Never say no to a nightcap.
And then the fairies speak up again and they say, well, Miss Catress... And they kind of look at each other puzzled, and they're reading off of notes, and they're like looking at each other, and they say, Miss Catress would like to say a few things?
Oh, even in death,
She's dead,
talking.
dears.
That's why we're as confused as you.
Just let me know, man, am I dead?
You're all speaking as if you don't know about magic.
I mean, of course magic exists, but the use of magic to animate a corpse only allows them to relay what they already knew in life.
Nobody said that she's going to be reanimated. She could have had a recorded message for us.
You'd think her lawyers would know about that? They look confused.
Well,
That's her
we're not...
personality.
Yeah, we're not very versed on the newer equipment that does these recordings. But it does say here that to present the recordings is Miss Catress's wife. And as they say that, you see a high elf with hazel blonde hair, very angular features. She's definitely dressed for her higher class, and she is wearing a very, very thick necklace around her throat with a very large gem, and she's dressed in black, obviously. A gown that escapes to the floor. It's very trimmed in certain places, very large sleeves, and she walks up to the podium. And you can see that both Gerald and Claudius are kind of like, as anybody who is in a social circle with, or even close, knows Shiri. She's been the spouse of Gabriel Catris for the better part of 5 years. And she comes in and she has what looks to be like a small chest, and she says, I don't know why I agreed to do this, but it's for my beloved, and I guess I will do what she requested. And she opens up the box, and there is a tiny mirror that kind of rises up from the center of the box, and a very monophoned voice, like something coming out of one of those old, like, RCA record players, starts to play, and it's a familiar voice to most of you, as an image of Gabriel appears on the mirror. It's a still image, but it lights up blue with magic, and it's just a voice recording it. It does sound as rough as old records used to, where there's cracks and pops as it was recorded. And the first thing that pops out is a laugh, and she says, I can't believe you were all gullible enough to actually come. Well, that's just what I get for having the best of friends in life. Well, if you're actually here after your prize, you're going to have to survive the next 4 nights. And I don't say that as being the threatener. You see, I know it was one of you that took my life, and that's why I've invited you all here. You see, there is an extra prize in finding my killer. For anybody who finds the culprit, I offer my company on top of what I've left you. Good luck. And you see as Shiri looks down at it and is like, shh. Well, she kind of smooths out her dress. Good luck, I guess. And she walks to start going towards the car beyond that one, and suddenly the lights in the car go completely dark. And not as in the lights extinguish, but you're going through a tunnel. But then the lights in the car completely fizzle out, and there is a blood-curdling scream.
Are you wondering what your favorite wacky nerds are up to? Search for Campaigns of the Plains on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and make sure to follow and like us to keep up with all our content and news. You might also find exclusive content for fans only. Remember to catch us on YouTube every Friday at noon for a new episode of Campaigns of the Plains.
You all feel and hear the whoosh of magic. And as the lights, as you exit the tunnel and the lights finally come to, why don't you all roll me a d6 real quick? And we will see where you ended up.
1.
Beaker?
It's probably the 6, yeah.
That's what I was like. It's either, yeah, it's gotta be 6 because that says 1.
Yeah.
6.
Alright, fine. Who rolled a 1? 1. The lights come back, and you are in a car that you've obviously never seen before. And Gerald is there with you, as you both kind of look around what just happened, and in front you see this giant engine with a glowing blue crystal in the middle of it, and it's just pumping out pistons worth of energy, and you now have an even better look at the lightning that is arching out, and Gerald's like, how did we get to the engine car?
I'm gonna go with magic.
Yeah, you're right. Magic can do some weird shit.
Yeah. How do we get out of here?
And you actually now see... First you hear these giant feet walking across the steel plates of the floor. And Gerald is like taking up a defensive posture and like looking towards the other side of this engine, and you see this Minotaur.
Oh god!
In, like,
oh god!
Overalls and like short horns. And she's got, it is a she. She's got like this giant like piece of metal in her hand, and she's like,
"We don't know how we got here. Where's the exit?
Why are y'all in my engine room?"
There was something weird happened, magic, and we got teleported here. We just want to leave.
Gerald's like,
"Please put the..."
"Yeah, we weren't doing anything. I swear, any of y'all touch my engine, I'm gonna bash your brains in."
I will not touch anything to do with that. I would like to touch a door to get out of this room.
She points to the other side and is like, Get out of my engine room.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. I leave so hard.
Alright, Gerald's like, he's leaving with you, but he's also like kind of intrigued by the Minotaur woman, and he kind of is like, "Good madam, may I at least catch your name?" And she
I just like grab the back of his shirt.
And she like, she's got a gold nose ring in. Go ahead and make me a strength check.
Oh god, I'm not strong.
As he seems like he's a little...
Oh
enamored.
god, it's a -1? Oh, 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you start dragging him out by the heels, and he just seems kind of enamored, and she kind of like lets this puff of air out of her nose, and she says, "Calliope Stormhorn, now get!"
Gerald.
And he's like, "I think I'm in love."
I think you're a tool.
Huh.
Oh.
Good tools in love.
Now let's go.
Fine.
And the reason I'm bringing you with me is because I have no way to defend myself on this train currently. Besides you. I will throw you into danger.
Well, that's not very nice. Alright.
You're a gentleman. Protect me.
Fair enough.
So gentle.
So you rolled a
6.
and you rolled a 5. Okay. So Otto, you actually, like, the light comes back, and you're back in the dining room somehow. One car back. And you see, as Eats Like King, like, is, like, looking out the galley at you, and he says, "You still hungry?"
No, great food.
Yeah?
I can tell you were born to cook.
Thank you.
We pay all the compliments to this guy.
Yeah.
Always compliment Eat Like King.
Exactly. Compliments to the chef.
I'm not sure why, but I suspect everyone else ended up on other parts of the train. Just pay no mind.
Sure, if you're hungry, come back later.
I'm sure I'll do that.
And he just smiles, and he's got, like, a knife in his hand. It looks like he's preparing the next day's meal. He's got a butcher knife. So, in the lounge car, the lights come back on, and you and Claudius are now standing in the lounge car again, and you both kind of look around, and Claudius is like, "What just happened?"
That I don't know.
Also, where is everybody?
Is it just us? Why are we here? We were just there.
It was really weird, right? I swear, that woman, even at death, she's annoying.
That I can agree upon, Claudius.
Let's make our way back, I guess.
Let's see if we can find everyone else, and we need to find this murderer.
Agreed. And you two move up, because you can't move back, because when you guys did see the conductor, he put like a bolt or like a chain in and a lock on the doors, so the supply room is secured. So you and Claudius move into the dining car just in time to see Otto's about to press on to the next car as well, and Eats Like King goes, "Are you guys hungry?"
I mean, the food was great, but I'm full. But do you have more oysters?
Yeah.
I'll take some to go.
All right. And he, like, you can hear him messing around in the ice, and he pulls out, like, 3 and hands them across the galley at you.
Chucks the shells behind him.
Yeah, sure. And you see as Eats Like King actually takes the shells and just kind of, like, as you guys leave, he just,
It's the tongue just like...
no, he eats the shells and everything, just kind of...
Crunch.
Yep. A little bit of a crunch as you guys move on to the next car. So you guys move back into the car, Otto as well. Josephine, you and Gerald move through...
What's the name of the dead person?
Gabrielle?
Yes. You and Gerald move through one other car that you have not been through yet, which is the sleeper car.
Ah, yes, the bedrooms.
Yep. And you see the passageway in this one is rather narrow, but the rooms themselves are very luxurious. As you, Gerald actually opens up one of the doors and is like, "Oh yeah, nice digs. I could sleep here."
But not right now. We should make sure the others are all right.
What if that Minotaur lady'd fit on that bed?
You are disgusting.
She's a very beautiful woman.
Yeah, but she could be married. You don't know.
That's fair.
And it's not polite to objectify women.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You just commented that she could fit on the bed.
No, I was asking myself if she could.
That's rude.
Why?
Because I said so, and I'm a woman, so I have the ability to say that.
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue with you.
Good. Now, let's keep going.
Okay.
But I call that room looks like the biggest room.
Just to get a bigger bed?
Fine, you can have that room.
So, you guys move through the smaller hallway and back into the car. As you guys both open the sides of the car, you now come face to face with everybody coming back into the same room. And you actually see the lifeless body of Shiri laying on the ground. And it seems like she is definitely not breathing. She's not moving, not breathing, or anything.
Well, I'd see the killer has struck again. So who's gonna fess up to it so that we can just enjoy the next 3 days?
Are we all back in there?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't us. We were back in the dining room.
Well, we met a very lovely Minotaur in the engine room.
And Claudius is like, wasn't us, we were together.
I was in the dining hall.
Like
yeah,
the
and we
story.
met up with you. I mean,
You were by yourself.
technically you were the closest one to the car.
Congratulations, you're a detective now.
And you're a murderer?
If you so quickly jump to conclusions.
Let's not point any fingers yet. She said that the murderer was in the car. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of us.
And Gerald's like, well, I mean, it could be.
It could be anyone. There are other people in this car. In this train.
Yeah, but why were we the only ones teleported?
Well, now that's not true. This lifeless corpse was teleported too. We weren't in this room when this happened.
What?
What? We were two trains down.
I'm pretty sure I heard a shrill scream before we,
Yeah, in the room we were in, where she was with us.
This is that room.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
as he, like, points around all the chairs and, like, the lifeless body floating in the tube.
I don't have much for
You're
object
acting pretty
permanence.
sus, Blue.
If that was an alibi, it's a pretty bad one.
I just don't have much for object permanence. Honestly, I'm a little bit turned around right now because I was here, apparently, and then I was in an engine car where I was being threatened by a Minotaur with a giant metal rod.
And Gerald, like, starts to, like, smile.
You're gonna try and have sex with her, aren't you?
Now who's objectifying?
I get to do that. Okay, let's not point any fingers. Let's not call names. Let's do something with this body before it starts to stink. Step 1. Step 2, let's all sit down and talk. Let's talk about how we know, I gesture to floating dead body, and why we were invited here in the first place. That could open up some reasons.
We gonna do that with her laying here?
No, I said step 1, get rid of the dead body into another
I'm not
car.
touching that.
I'm not touching it either.
Claudius is like, I'm not gonna fucking touch a dead body.
Okay, we'll leave the dead body here, and we'll go to let's go back to the dining car.
Let's go to the lounge. There's liquor in the lounge.
Yeah, that's fair.
Joe's like, I could use a drink after all
I could,
this.
I could use it, yeah. Wait! Every good detective story requires someone to examine the body. It gives a lot of clues as to who could have killed them, how they could have died, when they died. We obviously know when she died. It was just recent.
Go ahead, Doc.
No, I write murder mysteries. I don't conduct them.
Well, listen, I'm a simple entertainer. If anybody else has got the skills, and Claudius is like, I don't.
You don't happen to be a doctor.
No.
What about you?
Doctor, no. But anyway, I actually am going to look at the body.
Okay. Well, go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Oh, hey, that's a 27.
27.
What?
Nice.
What now?
Who?
Who?
What?
What numbers are those?
Yeah, those are some numbers. That's my health points.
We got another follow-up.
We did, yes. So you start to examine the body, and there is definitely a pool of blood that has started to form under the body itself. It looks like the body was stabbed multiple times.
Oh.
In a decently well enough manner to deliver death pretty quickly. So, like, no gut stabs or anything. They're actually, like, really close to the heart. So, yeah, it seems like a blade. And as you do a little more looking, it seems like it would have probably been a blade that would have pierced downwards and into the chest.
You
like
should
through the ribs.
Mhm.
Or over the
Like right here.
You should measure the width. I'm leaning over him. The width, so that you can determine what kind of blade.
Just like as I'm kneeling down, I'm just like,
Push his face away. But yeah, you see that there is 3 very concise stab wounds to the chest. Very deep. So whatever did this had quite a bit of strength.
these don't look like they were done by a steak knife.
No.
It's definitely a dagger.
It is definitely a bladed, like a double-bladed weapon of some kind. Okay. So a dagger, a sword, something along those lines. A spear, even.
Okay.
But yes,
spear wounds and dagger wounds look completely different.
This might be the first time that Otto's actually seen a wound and inspected it to try to figure out a mystery.
That's just me saying that those two injuries wouldn't look the same. Not really.
To a layman who has maybe zero...
I'm a forensic scientist.
Yeah. Who has probably never seen a stab wound in person. Maybe. But it was definitely a bladed weapon.
Yes, this is a stab wound.
Yes.
This is a hole in a body.
Yep. But not serrated or anything. Smooth on either side of the wound. So, it was a double-bladed weapon of some sort. A piercing weapon, if you will.
Okay.
Do any of us have weapons on us? We could all examine weapons. There might be blood on the killer's weapon.
And Claudius is like, yeah, I mean, and he, motions his wing back, and he shows off, that he has just like a small knife. Like, it looks like it's mostly used for, either paring or, cutting food on the go. It's more of a utility knife. So it's only got, one side. So, as he shows it off, obviously this isn't the right kind of...
Doesn't satisfy me.
Yeah. Other than that, he does have a quarterstaff on his back, and he's like, Gerald looks a little apprehensive at first, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I've got a dagger for self-defense, and he pulls it out and shows it, and it definitely has 2 edges to it, but it's clean. So there's obviously no visible blood on this particular weapon.
Does he seem at all like he's apprehensive, but do I get the idea that he's holding something back?
Go ahead and roll me insight.
We didn't check our weapons, did we? Like our actual weapons?
No,
Okay.
just magical items.
Okay.
Unless you had a magical weapon. Then that would have been checked in.
Then I will pull out my rapier.
Deception.
Which is pretty obvious that I have it because it's a rapier.
18?
Mhm.
19. I mean, his apprehension came... You can kind of tell from the fact that, like, this is... He recognizes this as some kind of stab wound because he's traveled... He's seen people ganked before in a back alley somewhere, and he was a little apprehensive among all these common folks that he might be the only one that might actually have a weapon on him.
I pull out a long rapier. It's
Where have you been keeping that?
strapped my leg.
Prison wall.
It's just like leaning up against the chair. Like, what do you think? It was a cane? I don't.
Ooh, if it was.
Oh, maybe it was.
Maybe it
like that.
was.
Yes. She like pulls out like the top of her cane and just pulls out a rapier.
All right. He's a little more like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I got a dagger.
I bought it from an estate sale.
It's actually the most fitting weapon for this.
I mean, is it clean?
Yeah.
I've
You
never
rapier?
used it. I thought it was a really
Pulled it out
cool
of a
thing.
sheath.
No, I pulled
Out
it
of a
out of the
cane.
cane.
Okay, but it was sheathed.
It was
in a
sheathed.
cane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheaths can clean a blade.
Can they? I don't know anything about this weapon. I bought it because it looked cool. From an estate sale.
Still real sus. And what about you?
I have these, and he'll reach in, like, under his, like, jacket, and he just pulls out 2, like, small daggers. He's like, I have these, but they...
And you?
I've got this, and it's just like basically a razor blade for like all you're gonna do is scrape shit with it.
I do have a penknife for my
Like a fountain pen?
for my
For a quill.
for my quill. You should just scrape the ink off the tip of the quill in case it gets gunky. You act like you've never written anything before.
Just surprised anyone still uses those.
I'm a bit old-fashioned when it comes to writing. I like the sound of the scratching against the parchment.
So, yeah, I mean, amongst the people here who have weapons on them, it would be Gerald, and it would be Killian, and it would be Josephine that have weapons capable of this damage.
Oh boy.
Let's move to a different car and discuss how we know the deceased. Let me open up some more possibilities.
Yeah, I mean,
And as someone who has read and written many murder mysteries, never go anywhere alone. That's how you get killed.
should we just leave her here?
I'm not touching that dead body.
Well, I mean, and he, like, looks around and he sees, like, Gerald sees one of the tablecloths that's on one of the back tables, and he, like, goes back there, like, about to do the thing where you yank it off really fast and all of the, like, glassware and stuff are gonna stay on it, and he, kind of smiles back to everyone, and ta-da!
I'm giving him polite claps.
Mm-hmm. And
Very entertaining.
he kind of walks over, like, making very sure not to step in the pool of blood that is forming underneath Shuri, and he, like, throws the tablecloth on her.
We're in the room that we teleported away from, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I actually want to look around the room.
Okay. Make me an investigation check. What are we looking for?
I'm trying to see if there's, I don't know, any kind of looking around to see if maybe there was any other blood spatter, or also if I might be able to see if maybe somebody had a weapon in here before we all disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and roll me an investigation.
24.
24. You do a thorough investigation of this room, and besides the chairs and back tables, there's not many places to hide things in here. So you get the idea that whatever was brought in to kill Shuri was brought in from the outside.
Okay.
The blood spatter from the kill was definitely mostly confined to this area, as there wasn't really an exit wound for the back. It all kind of pumped out the front. But there was a little splatter. You see a couple of trickles, like, backwards, as when the knife was pulled. The other two, the two times that it may have splattered back on whomever.
That's what I was hoping to possibly glean here. So I want to investigate everybody. I'm gonna need all of you to stand still.
Everybody was, like, in the process of moving to the dining car, and Gerald was like, "We do this where the liquor's at?
No.
Please?"
I suppose since you asked.
I really don't want to be around the dead body anymore, and I'd rather be around liquor.
I actually agree with Gerald on the liquor and the absence of a
it's
dead
starting to stink, and that's disgusting.
Yes. Did you know that oftentimes you defecate shortly after death?
I don't want to think about that as he, like, looks over at the sheet and is like, ugh. I'm glad that I covered her up.
The whole, it's not even just defecation, your system purges.
I'm gonna leave now and go
and
have
after
that
a while, once
No, and he opens the car and starts moving into the dining car.
I shadowed someone in a morgue for months learning this information.
That's fantastic. You don't have any investigation skills from all of that? You probably could have figured out a whole lot more about the body.
I don't want to look at the dead body. It's kind of disgusting.
Okay.
I write about this kind of stuff. It's an internal visualization. It's not real. The realness might make me vomit.
Claudius looks at you, Killian, and is like, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go get a drink.
Me too.
I'm with them.
I'm keeping a very close eye on everybody.
Alright. So you all move through the dining car.
He's very vocal. Don't trust him.
You all move through the dining car, and Eats Like King is like, are you all hungry?
Could we have liquor?
It's in that car.
Thank you. Alright, is anyone hungry?
You see as you do a quick glance over, you see as he's been basically eating everything that you guys didn't finish on the plate, and even, like, crunching some of the bones and like sucking the marrow out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could have made a stock with that.
And he, like, stops, like, mid-crunch, and he's like, that's a good idea. And he looks over towards the, like, two that are left.
We're having soup tomorrow, aren't we?
Maybe.
What about a nice beef and barley?
I'll have to see if they sent us beef.
Perfect. Continue on to the next car.
And he's just like, you see as, like, his tongue, like, flips out the other side of the bone.
I love it.
I'm surprised Gerald doesn't like that. He's into some shit.
So you guys make it back to the lounge car, and Gerald immediately goes over to the bar and, like, grabs all of the liquor and, like,
Are you
sets
gonna
up
make
a
me
bucket
my
glass.
martini this time?
I don't know how to make drinks. Listen, I just really know how to drink them.
For good heavens! I go up to the bar and I start, like, making drinks.
Go ahead and roll me
Performance?
No, go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Survival to make liquor? Come on. Half the thing about making liquor is the performance you do when you make it.
Haven't you seen Cocktail?
I mean, really fine establishments teach their bartenders how to do bottle tricks.
Okay, but that doesn't help the drink itself.
But it makes it feel like the drink tastes better because it's so fun.
I will allow you to roll a bluff check as part of the performance.
There is not a bluff stat for you. Get out of here.
Or deception. Yeah, I know. But yeah, go ahead and roll me survival first.
Okay.
See if you burn the shit out of these drinks.
Natural 20.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me performance then.
She's clearly a writer. Can't you tell she's a barista?
Yeah, she's an alcoholic.
That is a... You said performance?
Yep.
21. She's
Not
just
only-
like flipping bottles. She's doing behind the back tricks. She pours 3 bottles with one hand. She like blows alcohol out of her mouth and lights it on fire.
So yeah,
It's very theatric.
you put on quite a show, and Gerald's like, yeah,
A bow. Thank you.
but does it taste good?
I'll leave you to decide.
And he just, there's no tasting to his drink. He just like, yeah, another.
The top of that was on fire. Okay, cool. So I make everyone drinks. I just start slinging drinks while we're having these conversations.
Yeah, and Claudius also drinks his drink that you leave him. And anybody else partaking? Nope.
Well, I'll have a drink.
All right. So yeah, you guys have a drink, and what are you doing, Otto?
I am investigating everybody here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for blood.
Okay.
Blood.
Following up on the
Blood.
He's a blood hunter.
Blood.
previous. 16.
16. You start watching Josephine as she's making the drinks, and she's being very theatrical about it, not really paying attention, and you see a little bit of blood spatter on the front of her dress.
Okay.
Rude.
But
This is a very nice dress.
they're just small flecks. But you look at the front of Gerald's untucked dress shirt. Looks like he has some blood spatter too.
Okay.
As Claudius reaches for his drink, you look and you see blood spatter as well. Killian reaches for his drink, blood spatter as well.
This is a very splattering.
You look down at your outfit. You've got a few specks of blood yourself.
Well, at least they were thorough.
Are you sure you want to have a drink?
Quite alright.
All right. Well, if you're going to keep staring at me, I'm going to have to start charging.
I don't pay.
Suit yourself. I'm going to eat all the red ones.
So, Gerald reaches across the counter and, like, since you're not making any more drinks, he just grabs a bottle and,
Hey!
like,
Have some class.
cheers! And he takes the whole bottle, throws the stopper, and, like, goes and, like, again, plops in the same settee that he was in and just starts, like, taking big pulls from the bottle itself.
Oh, okay.
And
I guess we'll start with you. How did you know the deceased?
Me?
Yeah. Before you get too drunk to answer any questions.
Might be too late for that already. Well, I knew, and he, like, sloshes the bottle towards the car that you guys just came from in the general direction. I knew Gabrielle before she hit it big. She had a lot of really big ideas, and the only problem was she didn't have gold to her name. So, I loaned her some, and that's how she got her company started, at least, and got her ideas through the patent office, and, yeah, that's how I know her. How do you know her?
Oh, me.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I am but a lost and wayward egg.
Egg? Claudius looks over. Egg?
Oh, that's my fancy way of saying that she was my mother.
Claudius looks over. Mother?
Am I speaking in common?
Claudius just kind of clicks his tongue against the inside of his beak as it's open a little bit and goes, I can't believe she had a child.
Well, she may have provided me with life, but she really wasn't a parent. Makes you feel better.
Obviously, I didn't know about you.
No one does.
That's rather harsh on yourself.
Oh, no, everyone knows me. I mean, I'm famous, but no one knows of our relationship. I didn't really care to say anything of it, but I came because I heard she had died.
Okay.
And, I wanted to see her with my own eyes. I've never met her. Well,
Terrible
obviously,
way to meet.
I have met her because I would have seen her at birth, but
Do you really meet somebody when you...
no, I don't know. I've never seen her, so I wanted to see her. I thought perhaps maybe one of two of my parents wouldn't be a total disgrace. But judging by that scoff, I imagine I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, your mother knew how to get around.
Well, Claudius, how did you know her?
Simple. We've been sleeping together for years.
No children.
What?
No children?
Do you have any feathers?
No, I'm not his child. I know my father. I'm asking if they had children.
No.
It'd be kind of fun to know if I had siblings.
No children. Well, I didn't know about you, so who knows?
There could be
I
others.
feel like it would be a pretty big deal if she had a child recently.
Well, she was married recently.
Yeah, well, that was a big...
To a woman, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. But still within the realm of possibility
Wait,
for those
were you
two to
sleeping
have...
together while she was married to this other woman?
I didn't know she was married.
Until when? Right now?
Till about 2 years ago.
Oh.
That's when it all happened.
When what happened?
Just everything.
Everything?
How do you know her?
I've known her since I was a child. We were friends when we were growing up, and she came to me asking for some money and had a great idea and started a business together.
This business? The train?
Yes. We made the world of Eberron better until 2 years ago, and she took my company away.
So this was your company?
It was our company, and now it's hers.
Not to sound...
I don't think it's a company anymore.
Well,
Well, I mean, it is until somebody...
It's the only company I'm interested in. Not this company, just that company.
so that you're really vested in finding out who was the killer.
Yes. I'm going to take back what's mine.
Seems fair.
Well, would you kill for it? As
It's an excellent
Gerald,
question.
sloshes some alcohol at you.
Now, if you're the murderer, I just want you to know, even though I am her actual living child, probably considered technically an heir, I don't want the company. So don't kill me if you're the killer.
I'm not the killer.
And Gerald says, a random love child coming out of nowhere sounds like a pretty good deal for a writer. I mean, based on a true story, right?
I mean, it would be a really good book. I've already written a biography, but there could always be a part two. Or not a biography. What are they called, Josh, when they're about written when you're still alive?
Memoir.
Memoir. Yes. That's the word I'm looking
I
for.
mean, you can write your own biographies.
Yeah.
And
Autobiography.
Autobiography.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Oh, I feel like it's more of a memoir.
But
I think it
I'm
depends
really-
on what is the content, but yes, anyway.
I'm really just here to learn about her.
Claudius looks at Gerald and says, yeah, and she owed you a lot of money for a long time, and she would probably have interest on that, huh, Gerald? And Gerald's like, you're damn right, a lot of interest.
So she never repaid you after she made all of this money?
Hell no.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah, I was nice to her for 5 years, just asking for at least something back. She's making handfuls of money.
What about you?
What about me?
How do
As
you...
far as I can tell, I'm the only one that doesn't have any actual motive to kill her.
Yeah, but
She just kept showing up to every gathering. Someone who clearly never belonged there, but now I am starting to realize that she was given a lot of money, and money can buy you into anywhere.
Claudius goes, wait a second, Otto. I think I know you. I saw you at a couple of the functions that she went to. She kind of shamed you in a few places, didn't she? That paper you were
She's not
supposed to
the
put
first.
out.
But, yes,
I mean,
she's got a cunning wit nobody ever expects.
that she did. Obviously. He points to everything on the train.
At the same time, she wasn't the only one. She had more support for my work than anyone else ever did. So here I'm back to, as much as I didn't care for her and her degenerate ways, I still believe I'm the least likely one. You've all given reasons why you'd want to kill her. You are vengeful, realizing that she's married and thinking, well, the married one, her widow, would receive the company that you believe you deserve. You, thinking you deserve the company because she owes you a lot of money. You, well, coming out of hiding, I'm the daughter.
Why is it hiding?
You didn't want anyone to know. You don't tell anyone. And suddenly you come here and realize, oh,
I didn't tell
it's
anyone she was
actually
my
even
mother
more money.
because I didn't want her name to bring me my fame. I wanted to earn it on my own.
Well, and now she's dead and out of the way, and you can take what you think is yours because birthright.
What is mine? I don't know this woman. I came here to learn about her.
And Claudia says, well, I know she never had another child. I mean...
Did you know about me?
Her and Shiri were definitely trying, but you're the only one I know of, so you'd be the only heir.
I don't know anything about this company or what it or the stuff that goes on with it. Why would
it doesn't matter. You're an heir to a company.
Suppose that's true. Didn't really think of it like that when I got the letter, but you're not incorrect.
Well, at least that's what most people would assume. We didn't even have the will read to us yet, so...
But it did say that the person who found out who her killer was would get something. The company? Yeah. So what happens if we don't find out who the murderer is? Then who gets the company?
Claudius, looks and is like, suppose it would go to the heir.
Well, I thought would be that it would go to her wife, but...
Well, she's kind of dead.
Which is why you
She's
would
dead.
have killed the wife.
Well, that puts a lot of pointers at me, doesn't it?
It certainly does. You seem to be in a tough place right now.
Huh. Well, I'm the killer. You solved the mystery. Who wants to turn it in to get the company?
Claudius is like, are you confessing?
No. But
Sounds a lot like a confession to me.
most likely suspect, and, I mean, you actually should turn me in because you probably deserve it the most since you were her partner.
I was the second in command, yes.
And if you get the company under your command, you could pay the nice man the money that's owed to him from the other lady. I don't remember her name.
Gerald's like, you really shouldn't joke about this. You know that even if you make a confession like this, that later on the cops could use it against you if anybody wanted to turn you in.
It's fair. It's fair.
Sounds like we need to find real evidence.
It's true.
But yeah, you're totally screwed right now because all of the evidence is pointing to you.
No,
All circumstantial.
It is all circumstantial. I mean, the person who says he has the least reason to kill her could also just be covering his own shoes.
Well, then tell me, what do I have to gain?
Why do you need to gain anything?
Your Honor, it sounds like you didn't get along with Gabrielle.
Sounds like she called
We
you out.
didn't get along. We didn't get along, but if you remember, she was the only one who actually supported any of the work I did. If anyone wanted her alive, it would have been me.
But
because as long as she was alive, and as much as I didn't like her, it was really hard getting people to fund my research.
And Claudius kind of laughs and says, yes, especially after she shamed you in a few social circles.
But if you get the company and you get all of the money, then you can fund your own research.
You bring up a valid point.
And Claudius, not Claudius, Gerald, sloshes his bottle towards you and says, that's a couple of fingers at you, pal.
Let's play another exercise, shall we? We all came to this, wake, hearing that there was something willed to us, right? What did you think was willed to you?
Money. Listen, with the interest that was owed on me 10 years on the 1,000 gold that I initially given her, it's gotta be at least 100,000 gold.
What about you, Claudius?
Claudius says, I'm just hoping to be something worth my heartache. I'm actually looking for a personal item of hers that I had gifted her. She knows that I'm the one that gifted her, and I want it back.
And you?
The company. I want to reclaim my company and my social standing. I don't always live like this.
And you?
Curiosity.
You thought she willed you curiosity? Is
I
that
don't know
the
what
name
she
of
willed
a pub? But everyone sees the letter and goes, I've been willed something by this very wealthy person. What is it? What could it be?
Where are those fairies? Are they going to read us the will?
You've not seen them since.
I was
Fairies
hoping...
did it.
I was hoping for explanation.
Fucking fairies.
A reason as to why she left me. My father. Or just me. She probably didn't like my father. I don't like my father.
I thought she liked him for a couple minutes.
I mean, there's been a few men that I've liked for a couple minutes as well, but I didn't leave children with them.
Same.
That's what I was hoping for.
And Gerald goes, I've had enough of this evening. Can we carry on tomorrow? I want to go to bed.
Certainly. But remember, in most murder mysteries, someone always dies in the night. So, lock your doors.
Obviously. I don't want any of you coming in on me butt naked anyway. I sleep in the nude.
Okay.
And he kind of winks at you and goes, give that a thought.
No. No, I don't think I will.
That's fine. I'm gonna go find that sultry engineer.
What?
And he stumbles off with his bottle of liquor.
Huh.
Good night, weirdos.
Yep. Well, I think I'll turn in as well. Yeah.
Claudius is also like, yeah, I've had enough people for one day.
Maybe if we're all going to bed, we should go to the sleeper car at the same time.
Sure.
Safer. If one of us isn't the murderer and it's somebody else on this train. Sounds like this woman had a lot of enemies.
It's fair.
To bed!
Yay.
Alright, so you guys are all on your way, walking towards Gerald, kind of leading and humming a marching tune, leading you guys, and he's kind of like bandstanding it as you guys go, and you pass through the viewing car one more time and see the body of Gabrielle floating in the tank, as well as the sheet over the pool of blood that was Shiri. And like Gerald's humming becomes a little less ecstatic as he kind of tries not to make eye contact with the sheets, and he kind of shudders a little bit, and he keeps on walking, and as he clicks the door to move into the next car, lights go out the car again.
Oh no, somebody else is gonna die!
Thank you for tuning in to the Campaigns of the Plains channel. Catch new material every Friday on YouTube, and make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.